Screen time salutations to all your internet dwellers out there, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I am joined, as always, by Keelan. What is going on, man? Happy Wednesday to you.
Happy Wednesday, brother. What's going on with you over there, man? What's
No,
what's cat?
can't complain. It is what it is. It's hump day, right?
You,
And
you know, it is Hump Day, but can't we just say it's like a wild week in general and not worry about what day it is?
yeah, that's fine with me. It's been a hot week, and so I've been
Exactly.
slowly melting, and that's been fun. So. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in with us tonight. We appreciate all of you out there. Tonight we're going to be talking about season 3 of The Boys. Last we left off, we were on episode 6, and so we're going to be talking about episode 7 and 8 in this episode here, as well as giving you our overall impressions and reviews of the season as a whole. So sit tight with us, grab something to snack on, and hopefully you'll enjoy this episode with us. And feel free to comment along if you guys have any opinions or thoughts that you wanted to share with us. We would love to hear from you. So without much further ado, Keelan, first impressions.
Ooh. Am I doing first impressions? Am I doing first impressions on the season or 7 and 8?
Try to do all at once.
Just making sure. Just making sure I heard you correctly, because yeah. This season was pretty good. At the beginning of this season, actually, the season wasn't that good. Compiled together, I mean, it's again, I find myself stuck in one of those situations where it's like, well, if this was standalone, I guess it wouldn't be so terrible. But when you have to separate something from the body of work that it's connected to, that is proof of how you really feel about it. It doesn't stand next to what it came with. So that's my first impression of this season. It doesn't stand next to seasons 1 and 2 at all, but it has some entertainment value. It has some purpose, some point. I can point out positives in it, but I can definitely say there's an overwhelmingly amount of negatives compared to its predecessors.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. I wasn't too impressed with this season. Episode 7 was incredibly boring. I found myself looking at other things while watching it, which is never a good sign. Yeah, and so it was just there was nothing going on, and I think episode 8 is fine. It's not that great. What my biggest gripe about season 3 is like, what's different? Everything's kind of set back to where it was, except Noir's dead. But I mean, if you think about it, like there's not a whole lot of change character-wise. Kimiko gets her powers back. They're still with Frenchie. Huey and Starlight are together again.
Ashley's acting like she's human again.
Right. Homelander is still the villain.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm starting to get fatigued, is like, do something with Homelander or don't. I'm so tired of him just being like this continuous person. I'm over him. I'm over him being threatening. Either kill him or make him, go somewhere else for a while. Right. So yeah, season 3, not the best. I don't really know if there's anything that I could pin to why I feel that way, but I think a lot of it has to do with just being unmemorable and really adding nothing to the series as a whole. It feels like we're back at the end of season 2.
Yeah, somewhat. Especially how we ended. We ended almost replica, but on the opposite end of where in season 3, where we ended in season 2. Basically, instead of Ryan leaving with Butcher, as he did at the end of season 2, this season he leaves with Homelander. And luckily for us, we actually get an extra Ryan scene because of that in this season. But this season was all about family and fatherhood, and basically the farce that it kind of is in this show. It was really just about abusive fathers.
Yeah. And they said they were going to do this at the beginning, so I wasn't like overly surprised by the whole social undertones of the the season, but it's really just it's about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the head, and it becomes so eye-rollingly painful at sometimes. I'm just like, you guys, this isn't edgy. This isn't cool. This is like when Coca-Cola decides to make a statement. You know what I
Oh, you
mean?
mean
It's
like
like
that Pepsi commercial that they
exactly.
remixed in the middle of the season? Just
Yes,
like that?
yes. They are the Pepsi commercial. That's why it's funny. It's like they literally are doing that now with their own social commentary. And I do resent a little bit that you're right. Every father in this season was a shitty dad.
Oh yeah, and
Except for Huey's father, which we don't get to see in this entire season.
yeah, he doesn't show up. But so with you saying bringing him up, I'll catalog the fathers really quick because this is probably the most fun I had talking about this season is when or thinking about this season is when I thought about the dad aspect. I had
Mhm.
fun thinking like, dang, who's dad? Everyone except Kimiko had a dad story. I want to say Kimiko and Annie. Annie and Kimiko didn't have a father story, but they shared a drinking moment. So Annie shared about her drinking times, and Kimiko shared about her drinking times, and they both had vulnerable moments. But that's over here. We learned about Frenchie's dad. We learned about Homelander's dad, aka Soldier Boy. We learned about Soldier Boy's dad. We learned about Butcher's dad. We saw MM as a father. We learned about MM's grandfather and how his father passed away, right? Because
Victoria Newland's dad.
we learned about Victoria Newman's dad. We
Mhm.
learned about oh, we didn't learn about Ashley's dad or the Deep's dad, but we got background on them. We also didn't learn about A Train's dad, but we saw the A Train family fall. We saw and that's so we kind of saw his brother being a better father by being a father and not wanting to murder around his kids. We'll get to that.
Mhm.
Who did I leave out? Oh, Huey seeing the strength in his dad. So, right, Huey didn't have a bad dad, but he thought he did.
Mhm.
And he had to find out he didn't by being around and seeing all these other things. Did I leave anybody out? Dad,
No, I
dad,
think you
dad,
got
dad,
it.
dad,
Yeah.
dad, dad, you know? But that was probably the most fun of really having to like, dang, they really did that. Like
I
every
wonder what the
single
creator's
Frenchie, that's
relationship
what I
with
left
their
out.
father is, because
Ooh, that's interesting.
it would seem as though there's a little bit of projection going on right now. Like, I
I can
get
feel it.
this, because he came out and said he wanted to investigate toxic masculinity, and I'm like, all right, well, that's fine if you want to have some sort of critique on that, whatever.
Did you send me
Um,
that interview and I just don't remember it?
nah, we talked about it in the thread, though. I think I sent it in an article or something like that.
Hmm.
But as again, the subtlety of a sledgehammer to the face,
Yeah.
and I don't really think that it's as cool and thought provoking as they think it is. It feels pedantic to me. It feels almost like, again, it just feels like a corporation shaming me about masculinity, and I'm like, all
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm gonna take your perspective and hold it with as much value as I do Pepsi's. That's really
Everybody
what I'm gonna
has
do.
this season showed and proved to me that everybody has an opinion, which we already know. But when you're in a position to give your opinion, everybody has an opinion that overshadows the greater good of the work. It
Mhm.
just doesn't come out for some as fast as others. Eventually it comes to light, and if they're lucky enough, it translates well.
Yeah. Well, if they're good enough at telling a story, it translates effortlessly. And that's and
Agree.
that's what and that's what some of these people I think are missing, is that they are trying to tell us something, but they're not good at storytelling. And so, like you said, they just want to give us the message and then, not deliver when it comes to the actual story. And
Mhm.
that's why all this shit has been coming out. It's like they don't actually know how to tell good stories, I don't think.
I
Um,
mean, well, they're through this entire season, their example of trying to reconcile MM's mental health is every chance you get, the non-superpowered guy is the guy who's gonna basically knock out the most superpowered guy in the room that all the heroes have to take down at the same time.
mhm.
Like, I don't get me wrong, I'll be honest and say I didn't have much of a problem with it visually, but for storyline and context, it's like, wouldn't he be strong enough to like just roll his neck?
Mhm.
and just break every bone in MM's body or upper body
You
as he's
would think
trying to.
so. Yeah.
That's my theory there. Actually, my other theory is because he's already trying so hard to get all these other heroes off of him, the simple force around this human being would basically crush him.
You would think, yeah, he's being surrounded by super strength people.
Somebody's
Yeah.
gonna slip and a bead of sweat's gonna pop him in the eyeball or something. Like
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was actually really afraid they were gonna kill him in that moment by accident, not just by way of duty. I should say it that way, by way of duty. He was gonna die, you know, acting out his final wish, which is to take out, Soldier Boy.
Mhm. Yeah, but that all just gets put back in a box.
Yes,
Like we are
literally.
playing with it in a toy chest. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, yeah, let's put him back in his box, and we might use him for later. You never know. And
So
you
is
know,
it safe? Sorry, go
huh?
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is it safe to say that Grace Mallory is also a racist? I've been waiting for the end of the season to ask this question. I
Oh,
literally I
because
let
she
it
was in
fly.
charge of the
She was
team.
in charge of the Nicaraguan drug cartel. Uh, she definitely has real ties to this dude, and it's not just about he got landed on me. But nah, I don't even think that's the first time that they let him out.
I don't know if she was racist, but I definitely think she had moral ambiguity, and she probably didn't care that they were.
Much better way to put that.
You know, like she just doesn't care that people might be racist. If they're a tool for her, then she uses them.
That's why I just thought that is a much better way to phrase that. Is it's not her actions, but if the actions of the people that she hired just so happen to fall into that line,
Got to do what you got to do.
That's a much better way to describe Grace Mallory.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually I could run with that one. I want to go really quick to episode 7 where the legend was talking about I keep calling Homelander's daddy is what I'm about to start calling him because I keep calling him Homelander. Soldier Boy. Jensen Ackles. But when he went to talking about, he's just like, he ain't no damn hero. Like, he went to Birmingham and sprayed a few hoses. Kent State.
Yep.
When he said Kent State, he said Birmingham, and I was just like, son of a bitch. He said Kent State, I was like, oh shit.
Right.
And then here was the one, and this is why I bring it up. He said Dealey Plaza, and I saw Huey go, what the fuck? And I was like, why the hell does Dealey Plaza sound so familiar? Do you know Dealey Plaza?
No, it sounds familiar to me too. Is it the Bell Tower shooting?
The Bell Tower where JFK was shot?
No. Oh,
Okay.
Dealey Plaza. Oh, is that
Dealey
what they're
Plaza.
referring to?
That's where JFK.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was like, this motherfucker. like, listen, that was probably, in my opinion, this season, that was one of the better written in and hidden gems in the storyline.
Yeah, it was, but I think it also was kind of a cop out to just be like, well, no, there was nothing good about Soldier Boy because we need to make him a bad guy now. And
well,
so
I get they want to say he's a bad guy, but to me, it didn't make him look. I mean, of course, he is a bad guy, but it made him look more like a government tool. These were all situations that were rivaled against the government. None of these weren't just, and if you look back at each one of those 3 particular situations, they all have heavy conspiracies circling them. And I think they were hitting more on the conspiracy side of those particular incidents.
They're heavy on that type of stuff too. Like the MM's daughter's stepdad being like a being a Trump supporter or whatever, or QAnon, maybe, like that's what they're trying to refer to.
I'm not even sure what he would be at this point. He's beyond all of that. He's beyond January 6th at this point.
Oh well, they had to throw that in there at the end too, but
that little ending for him, that's beyond that. That's way past face painting in a Viking hat. I'm sorry.
Well, that's because that's what the people who are writing this think of the people who think that way.
Fair.
And so it's a caricature of the other side because they don't like the other side because they're smelly.
It's a pretty disgusting caricature. I mean, entertainment for television for those who aren't going to think as deep as we do on these kind of things. But
yeah, I think it's just a little bit. It's mean spirited, but it's whatever. I mean, like I'm not going to be sensitive about crap like that. I don't care if you want to talk crap about people or whatever, but I think it's just, for me, it's like my eyes roll so far in the back of my head that I almost go blind every time, because it's just, again, no subtlety, no talent with the critique. If you're going to critique, be talented about it. Be like thought provoking about it. Don't be like, hit you in the head with this, like, ugh. Come on. Work harder.
Bongo.
Yeah. Just
bongo hit drum.
Do better.
There was a lot of imagination play, and or self-talk, however you want to play that. I'll just call it self-talk and revert it to that, because I did the same with Wanda. It was a lot of questionable mental health moments in this season. And I mean, for everybody. I can't name one character that didn't have a questionable mental health moment. Noir's, I think, was the most vivid. Right. And Homelander's was probably the most intense. But
you could tell they did not know what to do with Noir.
No, they didn't. And
they had no clue what to do with him.
My problem, yeah, let's do that.
We can just jump around. This is going to be
for sure. But as far as Noir, and for anybody who's still here and thinking, or who's here right now and thinking, man, they didn't give a spoiler alert. Yeah, we know. Yeah.
It's in the title. It's there. Yeah, sorry guys, spoilers, I guess, but
Noir. I was ready for Noir to have learned so much and have gotten all these upgrades and just things that you never thought of or heard of. Like, yo, I didn't even know Noir he's tactical. He's supposed to be the smartest tactician, martial arts, reflex, all of these things. Regenerative. I understand, I still don't understand if he's regenerating, why his face and stuff never regenerate, but whatever.
I don't know either.
That makes sense to me. But yeah. Just the heart just punched out, and
not even his heart, it's just his intestines ripped out.
Yeah, he really just ripped his intestine out, which also made me angry, because at least rip his heart out, because what's going to stop him from regenerating?
I don't even know if he does regenerate, dude. We don't even know why.
That's supposed to be one of his abilities.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I'll believe you, only because we've seen that he's horribly disfigured, but I really don't. I mean, like, if he's regenerative, then ripping out his intestines won't do anything anyway.
Or might no, I guess heal, but I guess but that would be the same thing, no?
You would think so. I mean, if Kimiko can do it, then why wouldn't Noir being able to?
Right, like Maeve has super strength and extreme durability, but she doesn't regenerate. Neither does Homelander. And I'm pretty sure he just lost an eardrum.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely going to be deaf in one ear at least, which is some progress, I guess, on Homelander. But man, oh man, I'm just so done with him being a threat.
If we're calling that progress, we're canning this anyway. But I'm just sorry. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Noir. The whole Noir scene it was just a disappointment. We knew he was psychopathic. We know he's crazy, but really, Happy Tree friends that aren't those weren't even Happy Tree friends. At least Happy Tree friends murder.
Right? Yeah.
These were happy-go-lucky. We're gonna go and meet Christ the Lord. Like, listen, I thought that was nice,
But why would Noir go back to Homelander? I mean, I guess it was just because he didn't want to face Soldier Boy by himself.
Not by himself. Yeah, that's all. That's 1,000% off. But even then, it's not a good idea, because and that's why so when we figure out in episode 7 that Homelander is Soldier Boy's kid, I was like, oh, that's why Noir left. He definitely knew that. There's no question he didn't know, and that's why I figured he left.
Right.
So to come back, I was confused, and then I realized he only came back in that moment so that they didn't have to actually tell Homelander that Maeve escaped. Which, okay, Maeve escaped. What was he going to do about it? He had a bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they kind of had to wrap everything up a little bit too nicely. Like all the conflicts just sort of seemed to end quite quickly. I mean, we have the fight scene, which is decent enough, but Nothing spectacular. I mean, they're just fighting in a room.
Not even just fighting in the room. For me, it was irritating. Also, you have Ryan, who clearly has come into his super strength. He's come into his eye beams, which are pretty strong apparently, and he definitely has his durability factor because he was blasted by Soldier Boy, and he just got a little nick on the head, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him do a little more. You know,
Yeah.
I would like to at least see him fly, zip around, do more than shoot an eye beam off screen.
Yeah, I guess they'll probably do that next season because it would seem like they're setting that up.
I got some theories for next season. Let's.
But I mean, like, I don't know, man. There was the whole resolution to this really didn't feel like we got anywhere. And again, having Soldier Boy just being put back under, I guess Maeve gets to escape from the whole situation, I guess. But if Homelander decides to find her, she's toast.
Part of my theory.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I don't know, man. There wasn't a whole lot remarkable about this. I guess Butcher's storyline about his brother was decent.
Right. But that was just a part of showing how shit his father was.
That's right.
More shitting on dads.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. All the problems in the world exist because dads are bad.
Daddy doesn't care. Sorry, Mike. Don't. That's it. I'm stopping.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't really know what else to say about it. Were there any other standout moments? Let's see. Well, Starlight gets a little bit of power at some point, which is what we were talking about to begin with. But she's really just kind of a what we call it, like a jump starter.
Yeah, like, she's definitely a car battery jump starter.
She's a car battery.
Like you need power from somewhere else to put power into this. So that really, she's a walking dead battery.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, I guess if you can give her enough electricity to fuel, she can knock. She can knock Soldier Boy down. But I thought
back. She could knock him back. He was in the air already. If he was on 2 feet, I don't think he would have moved.
That's so true. Yeah, I don't know what the point of that was then, because I guess it gave them enough time to sneak up behind him, right?
Kind of. So actually, and if I'm being honest, they know that this is. I just need them to know how bad they fucked up. You know, the end of this season was bad, and overall the season was bad because I started looking for the bonus content. Like, all right, I need something to make me like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, I learned more about the eye gouging situation on Maeve. And so that whole scene was really just so that Starlight would actually fly for the first time in the series, because in the comic book, she flies, like that's her thing. She flies regularly.
Oh, why couldn't they just made her fly in the first place?
How about she could have actually flown? She floated.
Yeah, she did. She floated for a second, but that's because she was charged up with so much electricity.
Word to Huey. Now, if you ask me, that was a real classy moment. That was one of the real classic moments of that fight scene, was Huey deciding not to take the V or the Temp
just
V.
Be supportive.
And just be supportive. And he used his brain for once, like Huey. I like Alfred better than I like Batman. I need you to know that.
Yeah, I think that he can be a decent enough supporting role without the V, especially since his teleportation is whack as fuck anyways.
Yeah. I don't want to have to be naked every time.
Nah, me neither. Just hold your clothes, hold your shirt and your pants.
Focus.
You should be able to just teleport the clothes with you. But yeah, I think that was more of a just like him having to come to terms with the fact that Starlight's more powerful than him, and his idea of power. Like, his whole thing is that now he's purged himself of toxic masculinity because he has stepped down to the subservient role to his superhero girlfriend. And that was the whole lesson that he learned from his father, who is perceived as weak this whole time. And the show has shown him as a weakling this whole time.
It's true.
But now he's a good man because
because he bows to his woman.
Yeah, because he's subservient. And yeah. Sorry, I mean, like those are the
No,
motifs
that's
that
there.
they're
It's
putting
all
into
there.
that,
Oh,
not
yeah,
me.
you did not create this, sir. You were simply
No.
dissecting it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like that's why I'm saying, like, if the subtleties, if it's that over your head, then it becomes that much harder to like go along with the story. Um, but yeah, I mean, like that really was only just to support Starlight, and then Starlight doesn't even do anything, which is so
Nothing.
dumb.
I
Like,
expected her to at least give us 30 seconds of a showdown.
let her give damage to Soldier Boy. Why couldn't have it been strong enough to actually hurt him? It did nothing. It knocked him over a little bit.
Literally knocked him back about 5 feet.
Yeah.
Annie gets into Vault Tower though to give Kimiko her powers back, and she discovers that the V kills you in 5 doses. The temp V, excuse me. Two things. Number one, Annie, if the temp V is gonna kill your, I'll call him her beau at the moment. If he's gonna kill your beau, just give him the regular V.
Right.
It will
Yeah.
save his life.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. And you got to think he's already taken 3 doses as it is. He might be
He's
already
already
dying.
dying.
Right. He just
So
doesn't
if
even know it.
So if we get to the when we get to the end, Butcher took his 5th dose and he's diagnosed with 12 to 18 months left to live. Huey probably got like 5 years.
Maybe 3, maybe 2.
Maybe 3. Yeah. You never know. Let him go for a long enough jog. It might be today. So
yeah. I did like I agree. I did like the Kimco and Frenchie moments in the last 2 episodes. I think they're the strongest people in this show, to be honest. I think
them and MM ruled this season.
Yeah, I think MM is good, but they need to do a little bit more with him. He needs a little bit more than just trying to be like the, like I'm trying to get my family back guy.
I got you. It's part of my next season theory.
Okay.
A big portion of the next season, my theory for the next season is going to involve MM and his family.
Okay. Yeah, I just think that he needs to be a little bit more dimensional than just like the dude that's trying to, repent for his past and get his family back.
Right.
Just like, and now of course he's going to have to work on that even more now that he's got psycho MAGA stepdad,
Yes.
Right.
And I think before we even get down there, we'll be there. The best thing that we saw in this season was realizing that MM is not afraid of anybody that's superpowered, and he is not about to be superpowered to fight him.
No, I think that was fine. Now that Soldier Boy is out of commission, I don't think he has to worry too much. And it doesn't seem to me that Homelander is going to be bothering with the boys anymore.
No.
It seems like Homelander. Yeah, I think Homelander's like, Homelander won, dude.
Yeah.
He's won.
Listen, Homelander is Pinky. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, is the brain. Excuse me, and Victoria Newman is Pinky.
I honestly, I really do think that, like, what does he have to lose now? He just leave Huey and Butcher alone, and they'll that's it. It's over.
And that's why you needed the situation happening at the end, which we have to get to the steps to get there. Because once you had that standoff where Butcher and Homelander understand they both want to protect Ryan, they're not enemies anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Can't be enemies anymore unless Ryan tries to kill one of them.
Yeah. I think that was fine. The conflict between Butcher and Homelander needed to either finalize or go away, because it's trite at this time.
They needed to kill something, and they killed that argument rather than killing Annie.
Right. Well, of course.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be saying, Annie, are you okay at the end of the season?
Right. Well, they didn't kill anybody of note, unfortunately.
They didn't kill anybody at all.
I mean, just Noir. Irving. Sorry, his name is Irving.
You're right. Irving.
Yeah.
Which, I don't want to talk about the animated animals for Noir just blew me. Like,
yeah, it was kind of cringy. I don't know why they did that.
I think they were trying to play into his level of psychosis, like how far gone he was. All he could do outside of kill was kill. because his brain was fried, and I'm assuming his brain's fried because of Soldier Boy. But
I
that's
think they
hard to
just
believe after all this time. I think they ran out of.
I think it's just a stylistic choice because in previous seasons he's been that menacing like killer, but also like did one of those things. Didn't he like confront a kid and then like do the little toy thing to
Damn, you're
it?
right.
And like he doodles at Vought Tower and stuff. So
Mhm.
like they're just
He
trying
draws
to
those same imaginary things.
yeah, so like they're trying to juxtapose the fact that he's a super killer, but he also is kind of whimsical and like and silly,
What is he, Michael Jackson? He didn't have a childhood.
right?
Oh,
No, he had a bad dad, of course, man. Come
I
on.
mean, no, I'm sure he had bad dad. Listen, not even being funny, and Black Noir's black. They're not letting that shit pass. Knock it off.
Oh,
Knock
jeez.
it off. Nope.
Oh, jeez.
Nope. Nope. You fell right into that hole, buddy.
Mhm. Hey,
um.
man, to be fair, the only good father portrayal is MM in this.
Well,
So,
technically, you have two good father portrayals, and they're both black men. It's
mm,
MM and technically Stan Edgar, because it's not like he came after Victoria, and
that's
that
true.
is technically his daughter.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, he kind of just stepped aside and,
Mhm. Because he
did his
knows
thing.
they'll be knocking on his door mid.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's playing the long game. He's
Oh yeah.
gonna let them fuck around for as long as they want, and then eventually they're gonna need him. So,
I think when he finds out that Victoria dosed her daughter, also remember we still never found out what her power is or what happened
oh
after that.
yeah, what happened about that?
Yeah, season 6. I mean, so
Mm,
season 6, season 4. Why do I
yeah.
keep saying seasons? I've been saying
Because
season
it
6.
feels like it's been on for like 6 years, and so
It
yeah.
kind of has, hasn't it?
I
Was
don't
in
know,
like
every 2 years.
2017, then
Yeah.
2020, like 2019. No, it's late 2019.
Mhm.
It is every 2 years. You're right. Oh my God, we have to wait 2 more years.
I don't really care that much. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember.
Mm-mm.
I'm not gonna remember. That's why I said it that way. Like, listen, y'all better work more like anime and get with us in the next 7 months if you want me to care.
Yeah, for a show that's as brutal as The Boys, it really does not want to kill any of its characters.
No.
And like all of its characters have plot armor, which
Ooh,
is kind of annoying at this
damn,
point.
that sucks because you're right. Yeah, we have all the exact same characters from episode 1.
Hmm.
Might have added like Grace, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Um, and anybody added along the way has been killed. Shit, the
right.
Deep's still alive.
The Deep's still alive. Yeah.
Hell, oh my God, the Deep. He's not only still alive, he's now a bigger character.
Well, they only killed Translucent, but we didn't know anything about him
So
prior
it didn't
anyway,
count.
so it
Yeah,
didn't
so that
count.
didn't count.
Yeah.
Any character that made it past episode, no, he made it to, well, he died in episode 3, actually.
Yeah. Any character that made it past season 1 was basically
Mhm.
is still around. Yeah.
And yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, they don't believe in murder, I guess. Murdered who?
Well, it's because they have a source material, right? So they have all of the comic books that they can keep taking stuff from, and so they probably don't want to get rid of it, the core group, because there's still story that they can use.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's bloat, just like with Stranger Things when we talked about a little bit, like there's too many of the kids, and we might have been okay with a couple of them dying. I think The Boys is one of those shows where I could see. I thought Huey was gonna die, or Butcher, or Starlight. I would have been okay with Maeve dying. I don't know why she had to sail off
Yeah,
into
why
the
she have to
sunset.
alive? Why she have to alive? Why she have to be a survive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if she's just gonna leave anyways, she should have just went out a hero.
But then Elena's gonna cry. You don't want to see Elena cry, do you?
We could have just not shown Elena for the rest of the series, and that would have been fine with me. Wasn't Elena not like? Wasn't she not with Elena? Didn't Maeve look really like pissed when Elena showed up behind her?
Yeah,
Like she rolled her eyes and
because
got like uncomfortable.
she's always been like, you're needy.
Right.
It's
And she left
literally
her.
her. Yeah, that's literally been her only take on Elena is you're needy. I love you, but you need something I can't give you. And she tried
So
to make it seem like it was the superpowers, and that's what's gonna. I think that's gonna be a
Maeve's
part of
Maeve's
her.
gonna go for it. She's gonna try to find the V again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has to.
She's gonna be living that domestic lifestyle with her chick, and she's gonna be hating every second of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know why? Because then she gonna see Homelander out there fucking up, and she'll be like, somebody has to stop him, and she gonna get it.
Right.
She gonna get it through another entity. It's not gonna come straight from Vought.
Yeah. It'll be through like a cartel or
Yeah,
something.
legit. Like not even being
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Because she's not gonna.
That
I
makes
doubt
sense.
she's gonna be in America. Well, she claims she's gonna, and that's the other thing. They made it seem like, oh, she's gonna stay in America. Why would she stay in America?
Yeah, she could go anywhere. Yeah,
It doesn't
for
make
sure.
sense.
Yeah, I was surprised that they didn't do the like release of Compound V into the population of the world yet.
Season 4.
I
It's all
think
part of
yeah.
my theory.
All right, well, let's get to your theory, and then we can talk about other things because you've mentioned it like 10 times.
Like
So
I did
let's do
that.
it. Yeah,
Like I did this.
let's talk about it. So
All right.
what's your
So
theory?
before my theory, I have to ask a question though. And one of those questions is about Victoria Newman's offer to Starlight. What part of that offer was disrespectful, and or what part of that offer was asking her to be a shitty person?
In episode 6?
Yeah, no, episode 7. That was like third scene, episode 7.
Oh, okay. I don't know, man.
No, that might have been episode 6.
That was episode 6. Yeah. But no, I don't know. I mean, like, there's no reason for Starlight to be not trying to ally herself with her. She's obviously incredibly powerful, and now she's going to be even politically powerful. Although I do like the Kamala Biden reference there.
Mm-hmm. That was slick. That was really slick, and I didn't think if too many people caught it, but I was just like, "That's slick. I'm gonna see how this works."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
who's wearing the aviators? Like, yeah,
they looked exactly like him almost.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, yeah, a lot of white people look alike.
Well, aside from Victoria Newman, looks more like AOC, but that's not the point.
Yes, but she's doing the Kamala role in that little thing where they're next to each other. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't ally with her, especially since her and Homelander were at odds with each other at one point, and it's like, why wouldn't you take her as an ally? She seems incredibly powerful, and just because why? Because she's Stan Edgar's daughter?
Yep.
That's the only reason?
That was the biggest issue to begin with. And here's the deal. Because she's Stan Edgar's daughter, if it's one thing Homelander knows, he can't trust her. But he can use her. Right. And she gave him Ryan.
Yes.
So she understood. If it's one thing I like about Victoria Newman, she doesn't give a shit about Homelander and nobody else. She only cares about protecting her kid and herself. And as soon as she has enough power, she's killing Homelander. The moment she thinks she has an opportunity.
There needs to be a situation like that in the next season, because she needs to show that she's been working on squeezing his brain.
I think she has. I think she's been putting little pockets of
little cracks in there. Yeah, I would be totally satisfied with if over this whole time she's been working on getting stronger and stronger so that she could actually break his brain.
Right. I think that's why we see him being able to not just being able, but we see him taking on more damage, his nose bleeding faster when he gets into fights and things like that. Because there was a time where we saw this dude getting into any kind of fight and there would never be blood or anything. Even if it was Maeve taking off on him, it just wasn't happening.
Right.
And Maeve, she gave him the business, then the blood started. Even he was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, all right, I guess that's a thing now. I bleed. Nah, son, you got some forces working against you.
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool. I don't know if they're going to do it, but it's a nice little headcanon thing to think about, pun intended.
All right. Theory, and then we'll wrap up all the other mess, like MM needing to go back on Lexapro and Ashley's mental disorder. So my theory is in season 4, what they're going to play into how so Temp V's going to get out into society because Homelander now has a cult following. Like, he already had a cult following, but he for sure now has a definitive cult following. And they're fine with him killing humans, even though they're humans. But Homelander loves soups. So I'm thinking for trial, to see who'll actually do it, he'll just throw a bunch of Temp V out there to his followers. And they'll go army. And they'll become a little army. And those who stand the test of the trials, because he doesn't know it kills people yet. You know what I mean? But
I don't know if he'll use the Temp V. I think he might use permanent V.
I think he'll use the permanent V for those he deems worthy.
Right.
But the Temp V, like if he had to meet A-Train and Deep today, they're getting Temp V to start.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could see where he does that, but then yeah,
And that's how you
they'll
also learn people's superpowers first.
right. That's true.
So I'm thinking that's an angle with that. Um,
Seems like
Ryan,
Homelander might not want to do that though, because he seems to be like a superpower supremacist, and
but
he
Ryan will.
maybe Ryan, yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say next is Ryan's gonna be the spearhead of that. He's
Mm,
a kid. It's gonna seem like a video game to him,
right.
you know. And everything that Homelander wants, as far as mentally, he wants to be this non-human and all of these things. Because Ryan was raised in captivity by humans, he is already that. And he's a
Hmm.
kid. So if you allow him to be more a part of the sinister parts and dive into the nastier sides of life at what is he 12, 14? Imagine it 24, 26,
I'm
30.
still not 100% convinced about Ryan's turnaround towards Homelander. Did you feel like that was kind of abrupt?
Said his turn towards Homelander.
Yeah,
No,
him.
I think he
Oh,
just wants to
sorry,
learn from both
Homelander's
sides.
here commenting. He says, "What I want is milk."
Oh,
That is what I
you,
want.
you don't want your family home. Oh, okay, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, he just wants milk. That's
Just
cool.
wants
I
milk.
mean, he did have that moment with the cow, so maybe he just gets himself a cow and a
Actual
farm, and he
moment.
can live with Ryan on the farm, and he can have
Well,
as much milk as he
Ryan better learn
wants.
how to milk a cow if he's gonna be on Homelander's farm. Apparently, just saying,
Yeah,
just
right.
saying. Scared the milk out of him. Um,
But yeah,
think
I felt like that was kind of a quick turnaround for Ryan to be like, "Oh, Dad, will you ever forgive me for
for
what
not wanting to
for
be with you.
pushing you over?" Yeah,
Right, but no, that's what I think. I think Ryan is just being a kid. He's playing all the sides, soaking it all up. So he couldn't be free in the world, and he has always known that with Homelander, he's able to do that. So he's tired of being in captivity. So the moment he showed up, Butcher's being a dickhead. You see how he's done with Butcher. He don't want nothing to do with Butcher. Um, Grace, even though she's nice, she again is basically his warden. That's basically his
yeah, but
cell.
you would think he would remember his mother. Didn't Homeland kill her? Homelander kill her?
Technically, Ryan accidentally killed his mom,
Right. Yeah, I guess. All right.
which
That's
is what
true.
Homelander tells him. That's not your fault, and
That's
Homelander's the
true.
first person to tell him it's not your fault.
All right. Fair enough. That's convincing, I guess. Yeah.
Right?
But
Well,
it does feel like a very sharp
it's
180.
quite the sharp turn, but it's because he's a kid, and that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
this is exactly the route that won him over. Homelander shows up, compliments him on his fastball, tells him it's not his fault, explains to him what happened, which nobody else can do because he's been there. Hey, sometimes we accidentally hurt things. Sometimes it's the thing we love the most. You know what I'm never gonna do? I'm never gonna hold it over your head. Oh shit, really? I should be with you. No, little kid, you shouldn't be with him. But
Gotcha, bitch.
but
Yeah.
that's how a kid would think of it. And although Ryan is super powered, he is still a child.
So we're gonna get like a Brightburn for season 4.
I'm thinking this 1,000% is gonna give us a season 4 Brightburn series. I
Yeah.
think that's the exactly where my theory is headed. Honestly, that's
Mm.
exactly where my theory is headed. Um, Now as far as MM, the temp V being thrown or the V, whichever is being thrown out to the followers of Homelander, that's going to end up in Todd's hands. And that's going to put a potentially superpowered person in the home with Janine. And that's where
Mm.
MM has to protect his family from this.
Ah, I see. I see.
Mhm,
He
mhm.
becomes one of Homelander's like lieutenants or something, and then
Maybe not a lieutenant, but even at a grunt level, he's still in the home with MM's kid.
yeah, but I could also see him being such a sycophant that he becomes like one of the foot soldiers, and then he becomes a little bit more trusted, and he gets a little bit more
Ah,
access to things, and then he
you
gets
know
in
what?
Vought, and he's like, "Oh, I found this,"
Yes, and you know what? You're right. Actually, that makes more sense than what I'm thinking because he was the first one to champion Homelander's open murder on,
Right.
and Homelander's definitely gonna remember his face.
Yep. Yep.
Like you're the one
Definitely.
who got everybody on my side, type business.
Right.
Um, wow. Yep. Didn't even think about that. So yeah, that is all a part of that. A Train is shit, the deepest shit. Uh, oh, Ashley has psychological disorder that causes her to pull out her hair uh, uh, impulsively. Like
Yeah.
she can't help it now
Hmm.
because she's freaking
She
lost it.
ripped all her hair out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine. She
Um,
deserves it. She's insufferable.
right. I'm glad the Deep actually is doing some superhero shit. I mean, he became a murderer.
God, the Deep needs to die too. What do they don't even keep him around for anything anymore. They keep him around to have sex with an octopus.
Yeah, and so
Jesus.
his wife can write books.
What did he contribute this season except for killing that VP dude, which could have been anybody else?
Anybody could did that. Yeah, you could have shit. The A Train could have did that with super speed. Whew.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, I just don't understand why they keep the Deep around, except to just like dunk on him and make him the
because
butt
we
of
love.
every joke.
I was just about to say because we love Aquaman.
Yeah, but it's just so tired. At least give him something to do, you know?
I,
Like
I think.
I
Uh,
don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm like I'm ugh, like I just think that they're resting on the laurels of this idea that they're being like cool and edgy and all that
contrive
stuff.
about the Justice League.
Yeah, it's like, all right, dude, I get it. You're super cool. You're irreverent, and so you're gonna have a character that is basically useless to the whole story, but you only keep around for having sex with octopus jokes.
Octopi.
Octopi.
What I think with the Deep is they heard how much we all were not interested, but we all were fast not we all had jokes. Like the internet actually enjoyed talking about the Deep.
Hmm.
And I think they took that as, oh, they like the Deep. They want a deeper deep story. And it's like, pun intended. Um, no, no, we want the same idiot asshole that has no sensibilities. Don't try to give him a real storyline. That's stupid. Um, and that's not what they gave us. They gave us what they gave
Yeah,
us.
well, and then they set up this whole thing with the cult and the wife, and how
That
she was sort of manipulating him, and then it's like, oh, then they went from the octopus threesome. Now she's on TV doing an expose about him, and it's like, okay, so that was for nothing, really. Except now he's back in the same position he was when he forced himself on Starlight. Now
Mhm,
he's publicly ridiculed again.
mhm. He's just a creepo
It's just a
all over
creep.
again.
Yeah. So that's what I mean when it was like this is just like resetting the clock, and a lot of the characters are back where they started. It doesn't really feel like that was a good call, in my opinion. You
No,
want your characters to sort of progress upon a storyline. Now all of them feel like they've reverted.
mhm,
Um, Butcher is still going to have a hellbent thing about Homelander, especially now that he only has 18 months to live. If he
right.
knows he's going to die, he's going to go for it anyways.
And he already has Ryan, so it's Butcher has nothing honestly to live for.
Right. So he's back on his
Absolutely nothing.
vendetta thing, like he was before.
Right. Well,
Um,
except remember this time, Victoria Newman is his new target since the
right.
VP candidate
But that's
failed.
Homelander by proxy because he
True.
probably knows that her and Homelander are working together.
Oh, that you can put that together fast.
Yeah.
If he doesn't know, we know Starlight knows.
Right. Exactly. So it's just another way to get Homelander.
Yeah, it is. That's all it is. Another way to get Homelander. And it's not about what I've always enjoyed about this series. It's not about, oh, I want a better country. I want our country to be better, or I want to protect this. No, no, no. I just want to kill Supes. I just
Mhm.
don't think anybody should have all that power. This season, as entertaining as those moments were, the everybody having superpowers at some point, as entertaining as that just mucked the waters up of you know, humans being the ones to take out the soups. The only humans left are Frenchie and MM.
Mhm. Yeah.
If you've had it in your system, I don't think you're fully human anymore.
Well, and now we both know. I mean, like, if anything happens to Frenchie, Kimiko is going to shoot him up with Compound V because
1000%.
they still have that blue vial.
1000%.
They showed that they still had a lot left in that vial, so
And
they could be giving out doses.
I think Frenchie's power, if it just to speculate, matter of fact, let's speculate what would Frenchie's and MM's power be, just in case it happens in season 4. We're ahead of the game.
Right.
Um,
Frenchie's power. I mean, the most obvious one is that he could like create explosives.
yep.
That he
I,
would like be able to explode.
I think he'll
Uh,
have hyper intelligence and he'll have some Gambit level power.
Mm.
Or if it's not Gambit type, I can't remember the name, but like Toxin. Oh no, Toxin. He'll
Mm.
be able to
Mhm.
actually create different
Right.
toxins from his body.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
and I think MM would become like a Power Man type of a character.
Yeah, I could see MM being, well,
Or a Juggernaut.
yeah, or like a little bit like, what's his name? Colossus,
Yeah.
like having that, like,
That might
the
work.
like super durability, super strength.
Some
I
kind of
guess that's kind of old though. Like, so, 'cause what else could MM do since he's
I would think he'd
OCD?
have a level of an exoskeleton or something. Ooh,
I
or
would think
maybe
so.
multiplicity because of his OCD.
Yeah, me being able to do multiple things at once might be a good call. Yeah, he would certainly use that to clean the house.
No question. Clean the house, couple of guns, make breakfast.
Right. Yeah.
Read Janina story. Yeah, yeah, they're the only two people who haven't had some power by now, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Ashley. What do you think Ashley? Ooh, yeah. What do you think Ashley's power would be?
She would have a hypersonic voice. She'd scream like Banshee or,
Ooh, that's better than what I was thinking.
yeah, I think that she would definitely have like a Banshee sort of power.
Yeah,
You
I think
just
that's
scream at somebody and pop their head or whatever.
uh, I think that's better than what I was thinking. And because it would be Sonic, that could also actually take out Homelander. At
Mhm.
first, I was thinking telekinesis of some sort, like she'd be a telekinetic. But if she could hone some type of a sonar sound from her, like a Black Canary.
Mhm. Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And her and Victoria together, if she got that, her and Victoria together could definitely pop Homelander's head, no question.
Yeah, pretty easily actually. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm a little bit fatigued at this point. I think it's not just the boys' fault. I think I just have superhero fatigue in general. So I'm not gonna lay it all on the feet of the boys. But I just wasn't a whole. I wasn't very impressed by season 3 that much. I think there was a lot of shocking things, like a guy walking into a penis or,
Mhm.
like hero gasm.
Yeah,
I think there were spectacle things, which was fine, but the substance of the story wasn't all great. You reset a lot of characters, and which ultimately makes it feel like, well, I just watched 8 hours of nothing for really no reason.
kind of.
Yeah. Because even A Train's back. Even A Train's back to, like,
Beat A Train with a
yes, yes.
superhuman heart. Also, why did he not have a super heart from the beginning?
He should have.
I think we speculated on that though in season 1.
I
Like,
think
why does he
I
not
think he
have?
just maybe had he had heart disease, so maybe it's just because he had superpowers, like he wasn't able to
Oh,
heal his heart.
bitch.
I don't know. Maybe it
That's
like
fucked up.
sped up his heart disease because he has those.
Nah, fuck them.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I
I
know.
didn't
I
even
know.
think.
Yep.
Wow.
What kind of shit is that?
I'm a superhero, but I can't be.
Might as well have
Wow,
said, "Man, you got to lay off the swishers."
bruh. Like it essentially,
Yeah,
and oh wow,
I know. I know.
I could run at supersonic speeds, but hog head cheese is gonna take. Oh my god, who made
Yeah,
this shit?
yeah, I know.
Wow, that's fucked up.
I know it is
But
pretty
hey,
fucked up.
and but you know what? And I'll at least say this: they do have a lot of irritate, like side eye level undertones in this show, but they're pretty honest. I mean, well, not honest, that's probably not the right word. They're pretty even about them all around.
I think so. I think they're decent at least poking a little bit of fun at the left, because I think what we're trying to sort of talk around is that this is a very left skewed
Yeah.
show, which I don't really have any issues with in general. Most of the like the content is on a sort of left skew. I think it's just the level in which um, this season was made during the height of the Trump craziness back in 2020, I think. So I think that's why we're seeing it so heavy-handed right now, which makes it feel out of place because we're in 2022 and life is going on and we're actually concerned about a lot more things right now than something that happened 2 years ago.
Right.
Um, So yeah, that's where I think the disconnect is. I hope by next season we're going to be out of this whole like thing, but I doubt it. But by that point, like Trump would have been out of office for like 3 or 4 years, and so are we still going to really use that motif? Are we still going to do that? Like, I don't know.
I mean, sorry. The vax. Oh, that's how Temp V is going to get out there. It's going to be like a vaccine type thing. Do you want to immunize your humanity?
Operation Warp Speed. Yeah. Oh man, I could see it now. I could see it now.
At least if they listen to some of us and some of the other reviews and takes out there, they might actually do well season 4, because I think we're coming with some. They could actually do something with these ideas.
You just honestly, man, you just gave them material.
Jim,
Homelander creates a virus and then releases it out into the country and only inoculates people with V that he wants around.
That's right. That's right.
Oh God.
And I have to go there because they got me at the beginning of this season, episode 2, when Butcher and Homelander have that talk in Butcher's apartment. Scorched Earth. Do you know what the fuck scorched Earth means? It means it's going to be hot molten magma. That's what the floor is going to look like when we're done with it. That is not at all what they did. But I was so excited. Like, all right, let's figure out how this happens. And then we see Butcher get the Temp V. And it's like, oh, snap. They're going to have a superhero fight, yo.
Kind of goes out with a whimper.
Went out like a match in a windstorm.
And Soldier Boy could have blasted Homelander like twice. And he just didn't. He waited just long enough to be interrupted both times. And maybe you could argue that he did that on purpose, because he was wavering about killing his son. But
I think the second time he for sure did it on purpose. The first time, meh.
Maybe.
I think the first time I still chalked that up to he had just set off to kill the twins.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because when he was about to go nuclear, when he was about to go nuclear, he turns towards the boys. So I guess that's him, like choosing who his allegiance is with.
I mean, at that point, nobody wanted him to live or do it. So everybody got to go.
Right. That's true. That's true.
And to something you brung up, and you've brung it up time and time again, and I have to bring it up this time. Why does nobody respect that Annie has super strength?
They did. They showed her break that safe open that they were trapped in.
In this particular episode, or in the last episode, at least, no, actually, this season, it seems the writers and the creators at least realized it. But I mean, storyline wise, it's like they still forgot.
Oh yeah, yeah. They still don't really treat her like she has. Yeah, they don't treat her like she has super durability or strength.
No, they don't treat her like a super at all. She's just a hero.
Yeah, that can. I mean, she's like a Jubilee level of superhero, to be honest.
No, don't do Jubilee.
That's fair, because Jubilee can actually create explosions.
I'm like, Jubilee doesn't even. Let's be very clear for those who don't understand Jubilee's power, and I know you do, but people who don't understand Jubilee doesn't shoot fireworks. She shoots plasma.
Mm-hmm. She just does the fireworks for fun.
Right.
Yeah.
She shoots plasma. No, I don't even know. Man, can we get a Jubilee movie, y'all?
They tried to do Jubilee in a couple of the X-Men movies, and they just didn't have they didn't have the guts to do it. Yeah.
Well, they always want her as this little teenager that has a crush on Logan.
Right.
They always want to write that character. Like, we don't need that Jubilee. Give us 20-something-year-old Jubilee after she done been through it and after the academy's been destroyed. Give us that Jubilee.
Yeah. Tattered yellow jacket.
Jubilee. Yeah. She can't. Right. She just won't let it go. Looking like April from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you need people who can make good stories first. So start writing out there, people. There's going to be a shortage of good stories out there, and you might just make the best story yet. So
for sure.
Yeah.
I will say the best moment of Homelanders for me was that moment where he had to tell, or not had to, but where he told the Deep and Ashley and A Train, "You're not my family. I don't need
Oh.
you." It was like, oh, he's growing up.
Yeah,
Polo
but that
G.
was like he was that way anyways. I just don't understand why that was. I get what you mean by that because he was actually being like authoritative and like
Right.
you know and being a boss, but he was always he never
I
valued
mean,
those
he
people.
was talking to the peons, right? He was telling people he never
Yeah,
valued. He was talking to the peons,
yeah.
but I'm thinking that's his practice.
I'm thinking what that was he was saying all those things that he wanted to say to Noir.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That was his practice for the big moments. So the next time he says "Stan," he might have something slick to say.
Yeah, but I
You
think
know,
it was him. You're not my family. I think that was his what he
old
was
Noir.
thinking of Noir because Noir was his family
Hmm.
for a very long time. So yeah, so I could see him having that thing.
Uncle Noir
Um,
was definitely the scar.
right. So the final scene with Homelander and him coming down to the Antifa versus MAGA
Hmm.
rally and being called a fascist and having a Coke can or some soda can thrown at your kid.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure it was the A Train rush.
oh, hey, you know what it was? Actually, I think it was. But like that was fine with me. That's what I thought. I thought Homelander was going to do that a long time ago. Um, but this is very clearly another reference to Trump because it's a reference to his statement that you could kill somebody.
Mhm.
He could walk down New York City and kill somebody and
They're all
nobody
dead.
would say anything.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly what he said.
Like that's exactly what that is. And it's just like, okay, it makes sense for the character, but you always add that layer of blech I don't need on it. Just scrape that layer off and you got something good right there. I believe that Homelander would kill somebody,
Yeah,
like
you don't
without
have to
a
beat up
doubt.
ears.
Yeah, you don't need to even make that reference. It could have been at a protest of him, like in the last season, where he fantasized about leveling that whole group of people.
Yeah.
Remember, like that was crazy, and I could have seen him actually do it.
So what I actually thought was gonna happen when he came down, I thought, oh, now he's gonna enact what he thought saw in his head. I thought he was going to wipe out that entire
Right,
crowd.
me too. Yeah,
Um, and with him only wiping out the one person, I am saying now we will 1,000% see him wipe out a crowd in season 4.
probably. Yeah. Oh, I can definitely see him bringing his army of people to
Mm.
Congress to fight against Victoria Newman.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, which is very
they finally split apart, and then Homelander charges Congress, charges the House with his his MAGA riot,
right.
and yeah,
Well, once she's vice president, they're gonna kill the president, and then she becomes president, and then she has all the power.
right, and then yeah,
And
and
by
then
then, she's definitely gonna know whether or not she can kill him.
yeah, I don't know how much farther she can get, to be honest, at
Well,
that junction, because they're gonna have to come to loggerheads at some point. I don't understand why. Like the only reason Homelander keeps you alive now is there is no reason. Actually, you gave him exactly what he wanted.
yeah,
You
there's no,
know,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm hope I'm no, I'm saying that way because that's what it is. I'm hoping for her sake because I would like to see her survive longer than Homelander. Um, I'm thinking that's how that's gonna play out though. Is it's gonna happen as fast as it's gonna happen, but as soon as tables and cards are up, it's going to be she's president of the United States. She has the power of the military and she's a soup, which means she also has the power of legislation, et cetera, confiscating the V. That's how it's probably going to get out into the world as well. Every time something's confiscated and taken from an entity, a private entity, it ends up somehow on a black market.
well, I could see too. Homelander retires and then sets up a compound, and then you have like a Waco situation where the
Oh,
government,
damn.
the government surrounds them.
Man, that's deep.
They
That's
might,
deep.
yeah, that might get a little too spicy, but yeah, yeah, there's a lot of implications there. I don't know if I'm incredibly excited about any of them, if I'm going to be honest.
No,
Um,
after this season.
this this season hasn't really made me excited for anything else that's coming. It's yeah, I think I'm ready for ratings. So unless you
Oh, for
got
sure.
anything else you want to mention.
No, I'm done. The most entertaining part of this season was us talking about it because I knew we would have more entertaining things to say than what we saw.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Unfortunate, but fair. I think, a lot of people, let's just blame it on COVID, guys. Let's blame it on the restrictions and, just everybody's schedules got messed up. Maybe it's just a bad batch of movies and TV. Maybe we'll just get over this hump and we'll be fine.
Mhm.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, let's get into our final verdicts here. Our final verdicts for The Boys season 3. I will go first.
Hmm.
I am underwhelmed by this season. There are some elements that I really enjoy, so I can give those off the bat, and those elements are Kimiko and Frenchie. This is the only characters that I care about in this season, and I think they do very well at portraying their relationship. I think that they're very good together. They have a really nice chemistry. I think that Kimiko is probably my favorite character in this season. She seems to at least have the most depth to her character. But other than that, I'm not incredibly impressed. I think Soldier Boy was a good idea, but also very one dimensional and could have been more complex than they made him. So yeah, I'm gonna say this is average for me. It's not terrible. It's not like you're gonna hate it, but I think this is probably gonna sit at a 5 for me.
Yeah.
I think it's not great in my opinion, but it's not awful. I think it's just kind of middle of the road. And if I'm comparing it to The Boys as a whole, I mean, this is probably, I mean, season 2 and 3 were kind of shaky. Season 1 was decent, but this one isn't as strong as either of those two. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
I think I even prefer the on the nose Stormfront to what happened in this season. If we're going to be talking about, Trumperism and all of that stuff.
Mhm. I
So
thought she
yeah,
was gonna be a big part of it.
right. Well, she was supposed to be. She was supposed to be. So yeah, I'm gonna say 5. Nothing too crazy for me.
Ooh, look, he still got on his water shoes, ladies and gentlemen. He jumped in the pool with his t-shirt on.
Yep.
No, I totally understand. Season 3, it's giving me Game of Thrones vibes. But I
Mm-hmm.
said that at the beginning of season 3. I'm still saying that at the end of season 3, which takes a lot of the wind out of the sails for me in my interest of season 4. I can't say I hated season 3. It just isn't what I expected. And again, like I said at the top, when I want to remove something to enjoy it, like, oh, if we don't put it against season 1 and 2, then it's not that bad. That tells you how bad it is.
Mm.
Um, and that's my real take on season 3. I didn't hate it. There were still some things that pushed the story forward, but at the same time, we are back in the exact same place character wise. And to be quick, the things that are pushed forward, we replaced Stan Egger with Victoria Newman. We also replaced Stormfront with Victoria Newman, essentially. So that's 2 characters in one, a power figure that also is a soup. So that got burrowed into one player. And I'm sure that Stan Egger is not gone forever. Homelander moved forward a little bit. Ryan moved forward a little bit. Butcher moved forward only because of those 2 things I just said. And everybody else is pretty much still sitting where they were at season 2. Oh, sorry. And MM, well, okay, all relationships moved forward. I'm not even going to dive into that. All relationships moved forward, but none of that made the boys move forward as a
Mm.
show.
Yeah.
And that is where the hang up is. Again, if you go look at all the bonus content stuff on Amazon, guys, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in that, but we don't review those things because that's why they give them to us as consumers. They did the hard part. I'm gonna give this yeah, I'm gonna give this a 5 as well. I wanted to give it a 5-5, but I'm like that. I'm only giving it a 5-5 because the storyline did still move forward. No, you know what? I'll give it a 5-5 because the storyline did still move forward. That's the only reason.
That's fair. Yeah. I would wonder where the storyline moved forward, but I'm not going to question you on that because it's only 0.5 points anyways.
Right.
So.
And I'll tell you in short, it's again just not the speculation, but the circumstances surrounding Homelander, Victoria Newman, Ryan, and Butcher. Really, just those four people and all of the relationships. That's it. That's really just a half a point because of all of those things.
Oh, so I think it's probably better to say that the dynamics have changed.
There we go. The dynamics have changed. Yeah, right. The story maybe haven't moved forward, but all the dynamics have adjusted quite some.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair for sure.
And yeah, I would say Grace Mallory's out, but she's not.
Not yet. All right. Well, that gives us, I think, a 5-2-5 if we're gonna split it up, which is, run of the mill. Hopefully they get their juice back. Hopefully they get a little bit of that magic back. I don't know what I'm expecting though. I don't know what else they can do to make it better, to be honest. I mean, like, it's not like I want more gore. I don't want more gore. I don't want more,
don't want more dialogue for sure.
Yeah, I don't need more dialogue. I don't need more gratuity. I just don't know what it is that I actually do need, which is interesting. Maybe I need a character that I care about. And I think that that's why Frenchie and Kimiko stand out to me so much, because they're the only characters I care about. I don't care about any of the other characters. They're all awful, except for Kimiko and Frenchie. MM's fine, but he's one-dimensional right now. And I think that he needs to be opened up a little bit more too, because I think having OCD and being a repentant father isn't really enough of a personality.
I think the feeling like he has to make up for being a father is my least favorite part of If in season 4 they allow more of what Frenchie described, the best man he's ever met, to display.
Particularly because he's never really displayed himself being a bad father.
Right. Like, especially not a bad father. Like, where does that come from?
I don't know. I'm really not sure, because we haven't really seen him be a bad dad. You can't tell me knocking out what's his name was bad.
Nope.
Like, if he talked to your, if some dude talked to you about your kid like that, I mean, you're gonna knock somebody out.
That one. Yeah. I mean, he did that, and he smashed a fire alarm. Those are his
right.
2 worst.
Those are his bad dad moments. Wow.
He's big and overbearing. He's a big, strong-looking brother. That's the
right. Yes, you can't be intimidating, because that would be bad, right?
Yeah,
you gotta make folks feel safe.
Right. Be Todd. Be the guy who's willing to point a missile at innocent people that don't agree with him.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So we're at a 5-2-5 for this season. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Let us know what you think about The Boys. Are we giving you a hot take right now? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Let us know what you think. We're always open to hearing your perspective as well. We want this to be a sort of, collaborative experience for all of our viewers out there. Thank you to Homelander for commenting. That was very unexpected and very nice of you to do so. So thanks so much for doing that. We really appreciate it. And we hope that you guys out there have a wonderful evening. You can catch us every Wednesday and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. here at Screen Time Continuum on Facebook and on YouTube. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, maybe even notification, thumbs up. I know everybody has to ask you to do that, but it really helps. We're trying to get ourselves out of that liminal space where we're so small that we get no traction to actually getting a little bit of traction out there. So can't do it without your help, and we just appreciate you all so much. We all have podcasts that we do. We're a part of a network called Thinkering Talks on Facebook. You can catch a podcast pretty much every day. Mondays, we don't have anything, but Tuesdays, If Numbers Could Talk is hosted by Keelan. He has a Facebook page, a YouTube page. You can also catch him on Spotify. If Numbers Could Talk, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Go check him out. Make sure you give him a thumbs up and a follow. It would really help us out. Wednesdays and Sundays, Screen Time Continuum here, 8:30 p.m. Thursdays is Dijon the Mustard, a friend of the podcast and part of our network, has Strawberries and Coffee on Twitch. You can go check out him. He streams usually around 10:30 p.m. Thursdays and is it
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10:30 p.m. on Twitch, Strawberries and Coffee. He also has a YouTube page you can check out. Friday night, we have Exofathom at 8 p.m. We have a Facebook page, YouTube page. You can catch us on Odyssey and Verbal as well if you want at Exofathom. And that is every Friday night at 8 p.m. Then we got one more podcast Saturday morning between 10 a.m. and noon is This Married Moment with Keelan and Bobby. And that's on Facebook and YouTube and also Spotify. So please go check them out. This Married Moment, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. But I think that's it. That's all my plugging I need to do. Thank you guys for bearing with us on that. I think I'll make a card or something, or maybe an outro video that I can do that makes it like really easy. Yeah. So everybody can follow us. But until next time, everybody, we're for Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick.
And I am Keelan. Good
night.
I wonder what superpowers we should have said what superpowers we want.
Oh, yeah. Next time. We'll do it for RRR.